Barcelona, 22 points as advantage over Aleix Espargaro, and coming into this German Grand Prix at the Saxon ring. Red flag clears, the green flag clears at the back of the grid, and Quartararo will sweep up the inside of Bagnaia, the pole man to take the lead into the first corner.
Off the line, Gian Antonio still holds 5th place, and Jack Miller still maintains 6th.
Corner, just like he did in Barcelona 2 weeks ago. This is what he needs. Clear track in front of Espargaro. You've got to say, really, on paper throughout this season, our top 3 men in this World Championship.
Ferraro, one rider who did go backwards off the line, Jorge Martin. He started in 8th position, he's dropped 2.
Vinales is a pretty teammate, Aleix Espargaro in 3rd place. So end of lap 1, Quartararo, Di Fabio Quartararo, a clear nudge there on the right-hand side of Pecco Bagnaia's Ducati.
More than happy to charge through it, but Quartararo held that tighter line and was able to get back up the inside of
the phase of the race where it really should have the advantage over Bagnaia's hard rear tyre. How brave was that by Zarco? Unbelievable, flat out in 5th gear, 200 places now in P3.
Aleix Espargaro just had to play the long game there. He had to let that one go. The Aprilia, you got the indicator on the left-hand side of your screen next to Jack Miller's name. That indicates his long lap penalty.
Quartararo and Bagnaia starting to stretch away from the chasing pack. Quartararo the side, and Quartararo just, well, there wasn't a lot of room for one motorcycle to get in there. There was Quartararo on this 3rd lap.
You feel if it's going to have a particular advantage, it's got his advantage at the moment is around half a second over Pecco Bagnaia. Zarco maintains 3rd. He's as the fastest lap to Fabio Quartararo, a 1:21.5, 4/10
quiz. World Championship hopes extinguished permanently now for Pecco Bagnaia. He was Quartararo coming into this German Grand Prix. It's a disaster for Pecco Bagnaia in the World Championship. Surely that is game over for Pecco Bagnaia and Ducati.
So Mir's got into that yellow flag zone and gone down. There's the helicopter shot. Second bike in your picture.
He's lost there, isn't it? Pecco Bagnaia, look at this, coming through the corner. Yeah, the rear just steps out over 50 degrees. Yellow flags are out everywhere. Miller comes into the long lap penalty. Another disastrous day for the factory Suzuki team. It's all gone south since the Hamamatsu. Well, Luca Marini said pre-race this was going to be a battle of survival. He wasn't wrong, was he? Now his championship hopes have completely gone. He's going to be nearly 100 points potentially, particularly when you know how good this man is. He does not make mistakes on a Sunday. That's the difference.
Again, Quartararo in the early stages of the Grand Prix grabbed the bull by the horns and took the lead early on that Ducati. It's very rare that we see someone lose the rear like that coming through turn 1. We've seen a few lose the...
And then, yeah, the rear just comes out. You could have that latest blunder by Bagnaia. Just losing the rear as he tapped the throttle. Kenny said he'd had the best Friday of the season, the best Saturday of the season, and possibly only the halfway point of the championship. It is over for poor old Pecco.
Well, a few French wishy 1.8, of course. Do not forget, in the closing stages of this Grand Prix, that Quartararo is one of... Can he put the pressure on and be there to pick up any pieces if that medium rear tyre does drop?
Bagnaia's had 5 DNFs. Conversely, Fabio Quartararo has had 3. Taka Nakagami, his teammate Alex Marquez has just entered the pits. Old crash there, 3rd gear, building speed as you start the climb towards turns 9 and so it's certainly, well, there was a long shot to think Honda were going to make it 12 wins in a row here, down in 18th place.
Well, we could be about to see something that we've not really seen this season with the possible just how good his race pace is. We have seen examples of it, but too often from way till they're dropping behind him with a long lap penalty. And Vinales is catching his championship challenging. So we could see another Aprilia podium on the way in 22 laps time. It might not be Aleix though.
Yamaha, he qualified 21st on the M1 here 12 months ago. Finished 19th. The rumour started to emerge that he was trying to break his contract with the Monster Energy Yamaha squad. Gave him the career lifeline, fighting for podiums again in the MotoGP World Championship. So much trust and confidence, not just in the bike, but in himself. Simon, for some thoughts?
Only a quick shout out, because I always keep an eye on the rookies. Fabio, I'm looking out for is, can he keep the tyres going? He's got less experience at Menedin.
Starts lap number 10. 3rd race distance here then in Germany. 30 lap run. So Miller then back in 6th place, having already served his long lap penalty for the yellow flag in Finch.
Laps, Fabio Quartararo was able to pump in those mid-121s to build up that advantage with 22s. Quartararo and Zarco matching each other for pace on the last lap in the 22.0.
Here for Maverick Vinales fans might just be over that medium rear tyre that he chose. Front end there, we saw Aleix Espargaro and Jack Miller do it in FP4. Quartararo reels off another. Is to keep Maverick Vinales at bay. Aleix Espargaro goes in a little bit hot. brings it back to a late apex, or really Aprilia, where they've got two men fighting for a place in MotoGP. Many inundated with offers and requests to run a satellite team next year. That prize has gone to resisting the pressure coming here from Vinales as they drop down to the Waldman curve on lap number.
Quartararo's clear at the front, clear enough from Johann Zarco, but Zarco is also gapped to the Grand Prix, so keep an eye on Vinales. If he can keep that top two something like within range, Charles and Paul Espargaro in 11th, who are on that medium rear option.
Beautiful, super slow motion. Fourth gear, turn 7. That's going to be a battle which is going to keep us entertained until the final. The second place, isn't he? MotoGP's perennial bridesmaid, Zarco. Will move up into third place in the rankings, with Anea Bastianini right now struggling down in third.
Temperatures and the physical strain that it puts on the riders, but what it also tests is your concentration. It's so important with so many different corners around this racetrack. 30 laps of this Grand Prix, mid-30s air temperature. That is a real test on the concentration of the reigning world champion. But he's
watching the Saxon ring. He's tuning in, of course. Normally at this stage of a German Grand Prix, will be the man who'll be standing in the top step of the podium, where Marc Marquez is so familiar with the front tyre pressure. We're being told from the Moto2 podium finishers, when they were in a group, the clear air behind Aleix Espargaro directly ahead of him.
So the fastest rider on the track last time for the pace of Zarco or Quartararo up ahead of them. Jack Miller has now taken Fitzel for 6th position. Then it's Luca Marini in 8th. He's still having a big battle with Brad Binder.
Vinales is just 3 races shy of his 200th Grand Prix appearance in the World Championship. So if he's going to make a move on Aleix Espargaro, it's going to have to be inch perfect and clean, because he will not, with his teammate Aleix Espargaro, will be picking up 16 precious World Championship points. And you still see 15 laps remaining. You feel like you've already been out there for 2 hours. Shoulder cam with Fabio Quartararo. He's shouldering the responsibility to defend Joso, actually, for that 14th spot. They are losing a second a lap to Quartararo.
His attention, those last 2 laps from Johann Zarco will have definitely done it. Zarco closed the gap down to 1.2 seconds.
Quick one, Jack Miller, some laps has been catching these Aprilias by half a second.
Powering up now to 5th gear. These MotoGP bikes only reached just over 60 kilometres an hour slower than the start-finish rate, but Jack Miller, as Simon pointed, had another costly DNF to his name here in Germany, crashing when he lost.
Battle here at the moment. He's, from a championship point of view, Aprilia have got these 2 bikes in the right order, but a risky overtake on his teammate Aleix Espargaro. He's sitting there in 4th at the moment, but they're being reversed back from Johann Zarco. But Miller, Di Gianantonio, Martin and Marini were all quicker.
Just further around the corner, wasn't it? Within seconds of each other. Bagnaia and Mir too as well. It's going to be nil fire again for the factory Suzuki team. End of the season now then, with Quartararo for the first time 2 seconds, or nearly 2 seconds clear. The older of the Espargaro siblings as they drop down through the high-speed Waldman right-hander. So that might be a bit of a headache posed for the Australians. The Gianantonio putting for
Martin and Marini. Quartararo's been given the hurry up though, and he's responded. That's 3 Zarco's challenge looks to have been settled down for now, but this, as you say, Grand Prix, ironically, for crashing in a yellow flag zone caused by the rider at the front of this queue. Fighting back, and Vinales goes way out wide. That's promoted. Jack Miller's quite a...
Through that high-speed turn number 8, 3rd gear, you're really building up speed to hit only nearly a full calendar year after his last Yamaha rostrum in Assen 12 months ago. By the standing start, but he still increases his advantage over Zarco. There is a thoroughly... He's slipping out of his control, down the head into the first corner. He's absolutely livid. Fabio Quartararo at the moment cruising to another victory.
Vinales has got a problem, Matt. He's now down to Vinales on the previous lap. It's continuing to halt the Aprilia man. He's now down to 10th.
He's then dropping through the Waldman curve. When he had that moment into turn number 8, the moment there, I'm not quite sure whether there's some technical issues he's got with that factory Aprilia.
He's pitted now as Maverick Vinales. So
down the bottom of the hill into the Saxon curve, he was trying to be really hard on the brakes to try and unlock it, then get stuck on for Maverick Vinales. That engage coming through turn number 8 was pretty forced. Vinales can do about that. These rear ride height devices have made these high-tech motors. That's cost Maverick Vinales a podium here in Germany.
Yeah, we saw Brad Binder have a problem not too dissimilar in this Grand Prix. So Aleix Espargaro's no longer got his teammate for company, but he's now got position in Mugello and 14th in Catalunya. So it'll be a welcome team which has been his home for the last couple of seasons, and a podium finish is just up the road.
Here to defend the hard-charging Jack Miller. It looks like just a matter of time, doesn't it, for the other to tweet. The Gianantonio, Martin, Marini and Binder. Martin has got himself to the head of that.
And Ea Bastianini has now moved himself up into 10th position. You can just see in the background there.
This might be like a bare knuckle fight late on here in Germany. Brad just wonder with that lack of experience maybe in terms of tyre management, just drop off in terms of rear tyre life. Simon, down to you.
Just to put the Aleix that failed on Maverick's bike, but the one that Aleix runs.
Observation as always, no question, a major tech malfunction has denied Maverick Vignale. Jack Miller then got the inside of Aleix Espargaro. That was a brief experience for the Australian. Into the pits. Alex Marquez on the LCR Honda off throttle high side going into the first corner, and FP1 on Friday. What's brought poles.
And coming past Jorge Martin, what a good run of form Marini's having at the moment. He's had back-to-back.
Can 2022 get any worse for Honda and HRC? Taka Nakagami having a third big tumble of the weekend through the high-speed turn number 8. Now Paul Espargaro. To him. He might rescue a 10th place here today, but he's nearly 22 seconds behind on that last lap. Bezzecchi was the marginally quicker man, about a 10th quicker than Oliveira as well. He's down in 9th spot.
Just wonder how much Ea Bastianini is regretting that of this Grand Prix. Jack Miller now back into the 122s, and Marini wanting high of the factory Aprilia, but he can't get it stopped into turn 1.
Will it be third time lucky in the trying to attack Aleix Espargaro? Well, that's 2 times he's got on the inside of the Spaniard, and 2
back over Aleix Espargaro, who's currently leading this queue. And if Jack Miller continues to get stuck behind,
turns 8 and 9, they drop down to the Waldman curve, 5th gear, nearly 200 kilometres, and this 27th lap of this German Grand Prix. A Grand Prix he's utterly dominated. Miller closes in again on Espargaro on the brakes, and Luca Marini again, his pace as well. The man who's leading this Grand Prix. Sam Crayford's got a quick update on Paul Espargaro.
But it's, you know, my gut feeling watching the engineers, it's not the only thing, because they...
Yeah, thanks for that update then, Simon. It's painful to ride that Honda right now. Podium contention firmly in the hands of these two men. Aleix Espargaro today surely by Quartararo. Miller gets the pit board. He'll see that it is
run wide. That's Jack Miller ahead of Aleix Espargaro. So did Aleix Espargaro run wide into turn 1?
At the end of 2022, he said he wasn't going to let his head get down. He wasn't going to get dejected. Massimo Rivola sees potentially a podium finish. Gone 8 and 9. You could just see he's got no stability on the throttle through that fast seat.
Fabio Quartararo crosses the line. Miller then will lead Aleix Espargaro over the line. He's got a comfortable at the moment in the 122s as Aleix Espargaro falls back into the clutches of Luca Marini. Dropped up ever so slightly, so 5th position might be the best that the BR46 rider can.
With a 14th place in Mugello, a real tough Barcelona battle too. We've been released by Ducati as well. This is a real show of Jack Miller operating on a completely different level. There's going to be 20 MotoGP World Championship. It was never really under any doubt once he made the move on the internet in Le Mans a few weeks ago. But it's a luxury cruise in the Sachsenring. It's another 2nd place for him on the Prima Prama Ducati.
All credit to Aleix Espargaro. Ahead of him, Miller's got half a second in his pocket over Aleix Espargaro. That spurt.
In MotoGP in 2022, he leads home a French 1-2 hit. He took 3rd late on from Aleix Espargaro. He comes over the line in 4th here, Aprilia man. Luke top 10. There's going to be points of Bezzecchi, Fernandez, Morbidelli, Dovizioso. But let's hear the post-race thoughts, the immediate reaction of, I'm sure, a delighted World Championship battle. Will it be the devil? El Diablo here, conquering grueling heat. From pole position by Ducati's Pecco Bagnaia. Fabio Quartararo away well too on the factory MR.
Quartararo and Bagnaia into turn 1. Zarco less so. He didn't get such a good launch.
Dreamt of the perfect launch off the line. Got up the inside of Bagnaia. Toughed it out on the brakes into first. Fundamentally key in this 30-lap race. Quartararo then from Bagnaia and the latest
shot here down to turn 12, but he is not close enough to make an early move on Fabio Quartararo. Up the inside of Luca Marini, he's up into P7.
Classic move, trail braking into final corner, then from inch perfect here. Oh, Bagnaia did get through, but coming through was aggressive in front.
A real statement of intent from Fabio Quartararo. The door was open. Pecco Bagnaia was not going to get this up without a fight.
Yeah, and he'll be wary as well, of course, with that medium rear tyre. This is the start, really pushed too hard for fear of that rear tyre deteriorating pretty dramatically underneath him. Whoa, the spectacular blind entry turn 11. Ivan Neal stuff from Zarco. He's on the podium.
Picked off Fabio Di Gianantonio. Jack Miller had also passed him earlier on in that lap. You can see
Ducati up the inside of fellow Ducati rider Marini into first corner for 8th place. Back at the front then of the shoulder cam of the world champion. This was Bagnaia into turn 1 a couple of laps ago on the inside advantage we've seen so far in this Grand Prix. Bagnaia at the moment to slip 4 tenths behind.
But he can manage it in the closing stages, particularly if he's got a sizable advantage. Quicker than his chasing Ducati rival Bagnaia.
He's already trying to make a key break here, just like wiped out in controversial circumstance in Barcelona 2 weeks ago by Taka Bagnaia. He fluffs his lines again. That is going to be a 4th DNF winning the title this year. Mia's gone down as well.
Well, they're saying an incident at turn 1, but Pecco Bagnaia, is he a little bit wide? He is a tad wide. He tries to bring around. It's a long way around the corner.
That from underneath him, just with that lead angle, maybe just that hard rear tyre. Can't take your eyes off this German Grand Prix. We're only on lap number 5, and we've lost the factory announced they were leaving MotoGP at the end of 2022. Alex didn't even make the start of this, but drama in the extreme here in Germany because Pecco Bagnaia, for the 4th time behind Fabio Quartararo, going to Assen in 7 days' time. Not even Bagnaia, the last 18 months between Fabio Quartararo and Pecco Bagnaia in particular.
He won that early battle on the brakes with Bagnaia into turn 1 on the second front. We saw Paul Espargaro have a off-throttle high side through the rear. This is on board with Bagnaia.
Just him there, gently starting to feed the power back in through turn number 1. He was well way round the corners. Lewis mentioned that's quite an unusual crash. Most deflating Sunday of his season so far, and he's had a few of those as well. Bagnaia then now
1.8, of course. Do not forget in the closing stages of this Grand Prix that Quartararo is one of in the closing stages, because Zarco, don't forget, along with Aleix Espargaro in 3rd, are on the harder rear option.
Mistakes too often, unfortunately, does Pecco Bagnaia to pose a threat to Fabio Quartararo in the World Championship. Oh, that's that crash there. 3rd gear, building speed as you start the climb towards turns 9 and in the Saxon ring with that mercurial Marc Marquez. Their lone representation now in this Grand Prix.
But what a good race Maverick Vinales is having at the moment, running in 4th position. He's told us all year, but they're dropping behind him with a long lap penalty, and Vinales is catching his championship challenging.
Yellow flags are out in sector 3. Then Maverick Vinales, of course, what a difference the year makes. It was right, was saved by Aprilia. Of course, after the Saxon, we went straight to Assen, where Maverick Vinales gave him the career lifeline, fighting for podiums again in the MotoGP World Championship. Belief coursing through the veins of Fabio Quartararo right now, on course for back-to-back wins, back-to-back.
Matching the times of the guys in front of him, right in front and right behind. And
then starts lap number 10. 3rd race distance here then in Germany. 30-lap run in FP4 yesterday.
Yeah, the race pace is already starting to drop off a little bit. There's a battle for 22s. Quartararo and Zarco matching each other for pace on the last lap in the 22.0.
Will it be hanging in there for those crucial final laps then? Fabio Quartararo, Aleix Espargaro then 1.6 seconds further back. His prime mission at the moment, or really Aprilia, where they've got 2 men fighting for a place in MotoGP. Many of high-profile names have been sniffing around that Aprilia ride. Back in the present though, Aleix Espargaro.
Quartararo's clear at the front, clear enough from Johan Zarco, but Zarco is also gapped. He might well be a threat in the closing stage of this Grand Prix, although remember, he is also on that medium.
Vinales with those packed grandstands in the background there as they drop down the hill through the 2nd place, isn't he? MotoGP's perennial bridesmaid Zarco. Not 13th place. It's been a horror show for our triple winner so far this season, Bastianini. He's
empty track in front of him, and he'll hope to have empty track ahead of him for the next 18 laps of this Grand Prix. Mid-30s air temperature. That is a real test on the concentration of the reigning world champion, but he's...
Marc Marquez is accustomed to leading the race. The king of the ring, 11. His teammate Aleix Espargaro. He's got to be wary though, of course, of that ballooning front tyre temperature. And the Maverick Vinales may well encounter right now, right in the slipstream with no clip.
For the pace of Zarco or Quartararo up ahead of them. Jack Miller has now taken 5th with Miguel Oliveira, teammate to Binder on the factory KTMs, completing the top 10. KTM, of course, once again.
If he's going to make a move on Aleix Espargaro, it's going to have to be inch perfect and clean, because he will not, with his teammate Aleix Espargaro, will be picking up 16 precious World Championship points, sweating away. It's a grueler, this one. The hottest conditions we've had of the weekend so far, absolutely nowhere. The check on Morbidelli again, he's down in 14th place. He's just taken his
attention. Those last 2 laps from Johan Zarco will have definitely done it. Zarco closed the gap down to 1.2 seconds.
In 1 lap.
Yeah, Miller on the charge then, on the factory Ducati. Different challenge after the fast and flying Mugello in Barcelona. Top speeds here as high as the rear, tapping the power back in the